Next on WoodSongs, an incredible band, the Mavericks.
And all over history. Oh yeah, two strangers in the night. Here's some old man.
So won't you please?
And from Canada, Whitney Rose.
Be my little baby.
One and only
Say you'll be my darling.
The television broadcast of the WoodSongs Old Time Radio Hour is presented in part by the Martin Guitar Company, making handcrafted guitars since 1833. Online at martinguitar.com. The Lexington Convention and Visitors Bureau, providing information to visit Lexington, Kentucky online at visitlex.com. By Folkbook, a social media site for arts and music, online at folk-book.com. By Ear Trumpet Labs, manufacturing American-made microphones for folk, bluegrass, roots, and acoustic artists. Online at eartrumpetlabs.com.
Here on the Louisiana Hayride. His name is Hank Williams. The
From the Grand Ole Opry, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys.
Hi, this is Bruce Horns.
Hi, this is Kevin Moe.
Hey folks, this is Bela Fleck.
Hi folks, this is Sam Bush.
Hello, this is Odetta.
This is Joan Baez, and you're listening to the WoodSongs Old Time Radio Hour.
And now, gather the family around and sit back in your easy chair. It's time again for the WoodSongs Old Time Radio Hour, our worldwide celebration of grassroots music. Let's welcome folk singer, author, and tree hugger, Michael Jonathan.
People don't sing about cars no more. Cool cars died in the oil wars. It really doesn't sound very sexy to say I drive a little four-cylinder Chevrolet. Nobody sings about cars anymore. I got a little Toyota and it goes really far. It's a little itty bitty teeny weeny car. It's a fuel efficient automobile made of a whole lot of plastic and not much steel. Nobody sings about cars anymore. Here we go, Bob. To a little Subaru, the steering wheel might castrate you. A tiny backseat, I am told, is automatic birth control. Corvette, Mustang, 4 on the floor. Suit the Camaro, Hemi engine, 2-door. A roomy 8-cylinder convertible dream. Slip into a car today, you're busting up your spleen. Nobody sings about cars anymore. Hey! Nobody sings about cars no more. Cool cars died in the oil wars. It really doesn't sound very sexy to say I drive a little four-cylinder Chevrolet. And welcome to the historic Lyric Theater in our hometown of Lexington, Kentucky. So glad to have everybody here. We're broadcasting worldwide on over 500 radio stations from Australia to Ireland, New Zealand to New York, and Yuma, Arizona to the Yukon. In northern Canada, we're celebrating the amazing, wonderful world of grassroots, independent music. Artists come from everywhere to be on this stage. You don't have to be famous to be on WoodSongs. You just have to be very, very good. We've got an amazing WoodSongs kid to introduce to you this broadcast, a very special guest from Canada. The group that we're dedicating most of this show to have a brand new album. Their background started in Miami. They would perform in a lot of the punk clubs. As a matter of fact, one of their stage mates for a while was Marilyn Manson, of all things. And they continued on, and in the early 90s, they ended up with a massive, massive hit called What a Crying Shame. The album went platinum. You know the song, you know the voice, you know the band. From their CD called In Time, this is a tune called Back in Your Arms. Please welcome them, the Mavericks, on the WoodSongs Old Time Radio.
Since you and I were through, but here I am, back in your arms again. I heard from someone that you were back in town. I knew I couldn't stay away. No matter how I tried, this love won't be denied, and here I am, back in your arms again. Whoa, 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 here I am, back in your arms again. I should know better. What does it matter to a lovesick fool? I know once and never, I know forever I'll come back to you. I'll keep coming back to you. I should know better. What does it matter to a lovesick fool? I know once and never, I know forever I'll come back to you. I'll keep coming back to you. Once I said I'd never want your love again. You showed up tonight and proved me wrong. Things I said I'd never do, since you and I were through. But here I am, back in your arms again. Whoa, 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 here I am, back in your arms again. Hey, yeah, 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 here I am, back in your arms again.
From their CD In Time, Back in Your Arms, Jerry Dale McFadden on piano, Eddie Perez playing guitar, Paul Deacon on percussion. And if Pavarotti dated Roy Orbison, their love child would have a voice like this guy. Let's say hello to Raul Malo. Arguably one of the most powerful voices in country music, and to this day, I mean, you are just as pristine as you could be, my friend.
It's the pickling.
It's the better. It's like wine; it gets better with age, right? Now, folks are going to think I was joking, but back in the day when you guys were just starting out, I mean, you were advertising the Mavericks in folk music magazines like Dirty Linen and stuff. But you were on stage with Marilyn Manson, and you were part of the real alternative music scene of Miami.
Well, we were just trying to be part of a music scene, any music scene. So if it meant playing in front of Marilyn Manson, so be it. But you learned a lot doing that kind of stuff because we didn't know what to expect, and that was one of the first big lessons to like just kind of stick to your guns because we saw the audience, we looked out, and it was nothing but young kids with really dark dyed black hair and really pale faces and lunch boxes, and that was a big thing for them. It was a thing. I don't know. They had lunch boxes. They brought them to concerts. Our fear was that something was going to be thrown at us, at some point. But
hopefully not a lunchbox.
No, hopefully not, or worse, anything in there, So we thought, well, we played our countryest stuff. We did all like Merle and Hank, and we just thought, well, this will be it. And lo and behold, they loved it. So it was a lesson to like just stick to what you do and don't worry about it.
This is a tune off the album called Stories We Could Tell. It is the Mavericks on the WoodSongs, Old Time Radio Hour.
Before this night began, I was the kind of man who never shivered in a shoe. I was about to change, and there was nothing I could do. Oh yeah. And sure as night as day, they used to say fools fall way too fast. The only thing this time is you're gonna be my life. Oh yeah. So let me carry on and move us right along, right to the point of no return. Sure enough, there is no place I would rather be. Oh yeah. After you walked in, all the lights went dim and the music played all night. I may exaggerate, but that's what you are to me. Oh yeah. So if you knew me really well, think of the stories you would tell about the greatest love in all of history. Oh yeah. Two strangers in the night. Here's some old man sprung a right. Here's forever now, never meant to be. Light 'em up, boys. So let me carry on and move us right along, right to the point of no return. Sure enough, there is no place I would rather be. Oh yeah, you're wonderful, remarkable, and everything in between. I may exaggerate, but that's what you are to me. Oh yeah, so if you knew me really well, think of the stories you would tell about the greatest love in all of history. Oh yeah, two strangers in the night. Here's some old man wrong or right. Here's forever now, never meant to be. So if you knew me really well, think of the stories you would tell about the greatest love in all of history. Oh yeah, and two strangers in the night. It's a moment from a ride. It's forever now, never meant to be. So if you do me really well, think of the stories you would tell about the greatest love in all of history. Oh yeah, two strangers in the night. It's a moment from a ride. It's forever now, never meant to be. Oh yeah, two strangers in the night. It's a moment from a ride. It's forever now, never meant to be.
From their brand new CD, Mono. Stories we could tell. Max Abrams on sax and Matt Cappy on trumpet, doing a great job for the Mavericks. So Raul, the interesting work ethic that the band has when you're recording a new album and stuff.
That's a good way to put it.
Or lack thereof. I mean, it's not like you send the guys advanced tapes, have them work out their parts ahead of time before coming in the studio. You actually work it out in the studio.
Yeah, we just figured, you know, at this point, we've been playing together for so long, it's really kind of pointless to hand out demos because in the end you end up imitating the demos, and that's not what we want. We want to get everybody in the room and have everybody's input, sometimes, depending on the input.
If you like it or not. No, but you're the main songwriter of the band. So I mean, do you have a preconceived track in your head, what it's supposed to sound like before you get in there, and then you direct everybody that way, or are you letting the musicians find their own parts?
Well, sometimes, but I've also learned to stay out of the way, you know, and just kind of present the song to the band, and then we hash it out, and we all know if it. I mean, we're all pretty much on the same page when it comes to the music part, and we all know when we're stinking it up and when it's and
well, that's not the case right now. You're doing really. The music's great. Well, we're going to talk more about your role as a producer and encouraging even other artists, not just the Mavericks, and more about the history of the Mavericks. But right now, getting back into the new CD, the new album is called Mono. It's released not in stereo. That's where the name comes from. It's a very unique project. This is a tune called Pardon Me. It's the Mavericks on the WoodSongs, Old Time Radio.
Steady run of one-night stands from one town to the next. How long has this been going on? Can't even start to guess. Most of the time I feel alright with the life I chose to lead. Tonight I'm not myself at all, so pardon me. From Wichita to Arkansas and every mile in between, lady friend in every town, waiting for the phone to ring. I know what you're thinking now, and yes, at times it's like a dream. It's getting late and I'm away, so pardon me. Pardon me if I cry. Pardon me if you don't mind. I wouldn't change a single thing. Oh, as crazy as it seems. Tonight, if I should fall apart, pardon me. Tonight, if I should fall apart, pardon me. Tonight, if I should fall apart, pardon me.
Beautiful song. About being lonely on the road. The song's called Pardon Me. It's part of a great album called Mono. It's the Mavericks. If you want to revisit this broadcast, if you want to watch what you're hearing on the radio, you can go to our website, woodsongs.com, click on the archive page. This is show number 819, and you will also be able to introduce you to the next artist that we're going to hear from. And this is someone that is here by invitation of Raul Malo himself. The Mavericks are taking this wonderful artist from Canada on tour. We're going to introduce her with a song on this half hour, but in the second half hour, we'll get to talk to her at length. She's got a CD called Heartbreaker of the Year. She's an award-winning Canadian artist. This is a tune called Little Piece of You. Please welcome her to the stage. It's Whitney Rose to the WoodSongs, Old Time Radio.
Where'd you find that old school soul? They don't make those anymore. Did you go diving deep down in the ocean blue for that little piece of you? Where'd you find that open mind? Things crossing all the lines. You must have walked 100,000 miles or two for that There's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for that little piece of you. Just one little piece of you. Oh, one little piece of you. Little piece of you. Oh, one little piece of you.
Special guest of the Mavericks, Whitney Rose. This is her CD, Heartbreaker of the Year. We're going to talk more to Whitney Rose in the second half hour. She and Raul Malo are going to do a very special duet together. And wait until you meet this week's WoodSongs kid. You'll be amazed. We got more of the Mavericks coming up right after this.
This is Michael McDonald, and you're listening to the folk singer Michael Jonathan and the WoodSongs Old Time Radio Hour.
Thank you, Michael. Voice of the Doobie Brothers, among other things, Michael McDonald. And welcome, everybody, to our broadcast. We're coming to you from our hometown of Lexington, Kentucky. We're at the crossroads of America's folk and bluegrass music, the gateway city of the magnificent Appalachian Mountains, in this beautiful, beautiful lyric theater that we have our show. We dedicate part of our broadcast to a young performing kid. We put them on stage to be able to perform on a national broadcast in the presence of artists that have worked very hard, that have made it, have had hit records and such. And we got a submission from a wonderful young lady. She's 13 years old. She's from Pittsgrove Township in New Jersey. Let's say hi to Haley Richardson. And Haley, you're here with your brother Dylan, right?
Yes.
Now you're 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been playing? You're going to play the violin for us. How long have you been playing?
10 years.
10 years. So you started when you were about the size of a violin.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. So why so young? How did that happen for you? How did you start playing at just 3 years old?
Well, we had an electric piano at home, and it had this program on it where any button you press, the song came out. And so I kind of played around with that when I was about 2.5, and I figured out how to work it.
2.5?
Yep.
Okay.
And then my mom asked me if I wanted to start taking piano lessons, and I said, nah, I already know how to play that. I want to play the violin.
2.5?
Mm-hmm.
2.5 years old. So you're probably like some musical genius or something, right? You homeschooled or you go to public school?
Homeschooled.
You're homeschooled, so that gives you the opportunity to rehearse, to practice, to explore different things,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
So I'm going to brag on you, okay, because you play the fiddle. You like Celtic and Irish music a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're a 2-time All-Ireland Under-12 fiddle champion, 6-time Mid-Atlantic Regional. And this young lady, 13-year-old Haley Richardson, has represented the United States in all Ireland competitions for the last 6 years.
Yes.
So you started when you were like 7 years old.
Yep.
Now, your brother Dylan doesn't like to compete so much, but he's your go-to guy. He's the guy that plays guitar for you, right?
Yep.
So you're going to play a song for us called Mason's Apron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is an old tune?
It's a tune, I think it was written in the U.S., but a lot of Irish musicians play it.
So this would be part of the traditional canon of a lot of Irish fiddlers, and
Yes.
this is no vocals in it, right?
No.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let you play it. She's going to play her award-winning violin. She's 13 years old. She's going to play a Irish tune called Mason's Apron. It's Haley Richardson on the WoodSongs, Old Time Radio. 13-year-old Haley Richardson from Pittsgrove Township, New Jersey, and her brother Dylan. Good job. 13 years old. We're very, very proud of you. We love our WoodSongs kids. If you've got a young child that you think would do well to be on our stage, we would love to hear from them. Just send me a YouTube clip or a sample of their music and a couple, 3 sentences about who they are. So just send an email to michael@woodsongs.com. Didn't Haley do a great job? She also started in music very, very young. We're going to talk to her shortly about her background and how she pursued her own career in country music. But she's got a new album out called Heartbreaker of the Year. She's here as a special guest of the Mavericks from Canada. This is a tune called The Devil Borrowed My Boots. It's Whitney Rose on the WoodSongs, Old Time Radio Hour.
Saturday night I was staying put, head buried in my latest book. And as the Sandman called, I heard a knock. I thought, who could that be? I'm just knitting these socks. Almost slipped on my fresh scrub floor when I came out to see you was knocking on my door. To my surprise, the devil stood there before my eyes and said, you wanna hit the town? I said, go away. Turned on my heel to my room to pray as I lay and faded out of sight. The devil borrowed my boots last night. Took off in my boots and went to town. When it caused a scene, don't be fooled by the boots. That wasn't me. Oh, I can only go now from what I'm told. Let's just say the devil wasn't good as gold. Shots of whiskey at the bar, yelling at the band, you'll never go far. Just when people thought that the devil had left, nope, outside lighting up a cigarette. In my boots and went to town. When guess the devil thought that was fun to do. Then the devil met with Jack Jones too. Y'all would think that was me. Y'all ain't right. The devil borrowed my boots last night. Devil borrowed my boots last night.
From Canada, from her CD, Heartbreaker of the Year, The Devil Borrowed My Boots Last Night. Whitney Rose, it's nice to have you on our broadcast.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
You grew up in Canada.
That's right.
And around your grandparents had a club, had a little bar, and that you'd hang out with them. And you'd
Why wouldn't you?
Well, of course not. Most 5-year-olds want to be in a bar, right?
So, that's right.
No, seriously, they had a bar, and they loved country music. They played on the jukebox all the time. That really influenced you a lot, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up with my grandparents, and my mom was also in the house, and you know, she was playing the popular tunes of the day, which would be, you know, the 90s. So Whitney Houston was a big one, and I was just always so much more drawn to what my grandparents were playing.
So the country music, the traditional classic country artists, you really enjoyed them a lot as a young girl.
Yeah, well, older music in general. Like they were also playing, you know, old pop tunes, and I was drawn to them as well.
It's interesting that the same kind of artists like Hank Williams and Patsy Cline, Dolly Parton. You even liked a Kentucky boy named Keith Whitley a lot, right?
Oh.
So all these artists. These are the same kind of artists that inspired the Mavericks to form as a band, and you used to listen to the Mavericks when you were a young girl.
That's right. Yeah.
And then one day you got introduced to Raul Malo.
And that happened, yeah.
And he ended up producing your current album. So, Raul, what was it about Whitney as an artist that drew you and said, I want to be part of this project?
Well, I think we, our agent, our booking agent actually suggested for her to come out and open some shows for us in Canada. So we were, sure. And she came out and really was wowing the audiences every night with her music, her personality, her banter, the whole thing, and we were just, as you do on tour, you get to hang out a lot and you get to listen to a lot of music and you get to find out what other people like and what they're about, and the more we spoke about music and the more we hung out, we realized we have a lot of the same influences, and philosophically we agree a lot on a lot of we love a lot of the same kind of music, and she wanted to make this record. She had a batch of songs that she wanted me to hear and wanted me to help her make this record. And really we all went up to Toronto and hung out with her for a couple of days, and she wrote all the songs, and credit to her, let us get in there and really kind of mess with the arrangements and that kind of thing, which not every artist is willing to do,
I figured I was in pretty good hands.
So,
could do worse than having the Mavericks back up your album. Yeah. Now,
well, thank you, but still, that, to her credit, she let that happen, and
sure.
So we got along in that regard musically,
Well, one of the songs on the album that she didn't write, which took a lot of bravery on her part, was to resurrect one of the most classic pop songs in history that you ended up doing with her as a duet, and you're going to do it here on our broadcast. This is a Phil Spector production that you guys are reinterpreting.
Right.
So this is bravado, but it's a brilliant track. It's on her CD, Heartbreaker of the Year. Wait till you hear this. It's Whitney Rose, Raul Malo, and the Mavericks on the song called Be My Baby. So Raul, you go into the studio, you go through the expense of the studio and stuff, and you decide, let's mix it in mono instead of stereo.
Sure.
Why?
Well, that's a good question, and one that we still don't have a really good answer for. But I guess the short story is that every day we'd start the process, and we'd get there in the morning, and we would start listening by music that would be inspiring for the day, or something we wanted to hear, just to either get an idea from, or just an inspiration. You know, sometimes just listening to music, and we really, what we found in all these beautiful records that were getting played, whether it was Santo and Johnny, or the Beatles, or the Beach Boys, or Duke Ellington, or some random ska record, they were all in mono. And
so all the classic records that you loved as artists, they were.
But we started listening really with more of an analytical, critical ear. You know, just really kind of what made it special. And mono, and when you record in mono, when you mix in mono, I feel there's a really kind of we all feel that there's kind of a beautiful sort of musical honesty about it. There's no trickery. You can't use the usual tricks that we use on the audience.
Well, I have to say, listening to it's done so well that you don't notice that it's in mono.
Oh,
that's
really,
a compliment. That's a compliment.
Thanks. I really feel like if we hadn't said anything, nobody would have noticed.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Well, we noticed that you guys are a great band, and we're certainly glad that you're here. The new album's called Mono. It's on CD. It's also on vinyl. This is a tune off the album called Summertime. It is the Mavericks on the WoodSongs Old Time Radio Hour.
Summertime, it may be my favorite time, better than any other time, if I'm with you. Winter time is not at all my favorite time, but that could change at any time, if I'm with you. Autumn is through and lonely, spring makes you feel brand new. I'd break them all if only I get to be with you. Anytime will surely be my favorite time, just like every other time. When I'm with you. And lonely, spring makes you feel brand new. I'd read them all if only I get to be with you. Anytime will surely be my favorite time, just like every other time. When I'm with you. Oh, when I'm with you. Oh, when I'm with you. stop you running around. Better think of your future, Rudy. 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 Max Abrams on the saxophone.
Wasn't it great having the Mavericks on our broadcast tonight? Jerry Dell, Eddie Paul, Raul Malo in the band. And from Canada, Whitney Rose, a great special guest. And this week's WoodSongs kid, Haley Richardson, her brother Dylan on fiddle. So much music. Music is a hurricane of the heart. Music is a beautiful emotion. It's unfettered by what bin you're in. It doesn't matter. There's no more bins. There's hardly any more stores anymore. Artists should pursue the same freedom that the Mavericks are doing, that Whitney Rose is doing. Years ago, John F. Kennedy said that if art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him. The Mavericks are doing that. Whitney Rose is doing that. Our WoodSongs kids are doing that. I hope you do the same thing when you're playing to your children on your own living room couch. Music and art is a wonderful freedom of the soul. So exercise it, use it, enjoy it. My name is Michael Jonathan. I'm a folk singer. I'm a log cabin dweller, and we'll see you next week on the WoodSongs.
You've been listening to WoodSongs broadcast number 819. Michael's opening song was Cars from the Ravenwood CD, featuring Isaac May on mandolin and Bob Ryan on bass.
Well, there's our show. I hope you had a good time. We sure had a good time making it. If you'd like to send me an email, I'd love to hear from you. My email address is michael@woodsongs.com. If you visit our website, there's a huge archive page of hundreds of past shows. While you're there, you can find out how you can become a song farmer. And speaking of the archives, here's a scene from one of those past shows now. We'll see you again next week on the WoodSongs Old Time Radio Hour.
Closed captioning provided by the Deering Banjo Company. The television broadcast of the WoodSongs Old Time Radio Hour is presented in part by the Martin Guitar Company, making handcrafted guitars since 1833. Online at martinguitar.com. The Lexington Convention and Visitors Bureau, providing information to visit Lexington, Kentucky online at visitlex.com. By Folkbook, a social media site for arts and music, online at folk-book.com. By Ear Trumpet Labs, manufacturing American-made microphones for folk, bluegrass, roots, and acoustic artists, online at eartrumpetlabs.com.